This episode may contain strong language and adult themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. So welcome to episode 58 of the 22 Dropouts. On repeat, if you're watching this on +1 or demand, please do not vote because your vote will not be counted, but you may still be charged. So it is that time when we try and repeat the fuck up that was episode 58 because the meeting didn't record. If it ever does record, then what we're going to do is compare them like for like and see if we actually get anything right. And we've got a different panel again tonight. So first of all, from Malta, it's Sam. Say hello, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Well done, mate. How's your draw? Mate, have you got your ironing board up behind you as a backdrop?
Yeah, just being a bachelor, and being a guy in a guy pad, so I thought I'd just leave it up.
Okay, anyway, moving on. Daryl, how are you, mate?
Very well, thanks. And you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not sure we should go there with Sam. There's too many jokes. But we did see Sam doing his best grinder impression last week. So we're waiting for... We saw your picture, mate, that you sent to Pete when you were on the beach in the buff. Okay? So
I was not in the buff. Stop it.
There was no clothes on the bits that we saw.
Yeah, that was. Oh my God! Seriously?
A really small pair of budgie smugglers, Sam.
No, I did not have a small pair of budgie smugglers, and I would never wear a small pair of budgie smugglers.
Why not?
Because they're budgie smugglers.
Why not, mate? I've seen him in Y-front. I know why he doesn't wear budgie smugglers.
Yes, I suppose that's fair.
But then again, but also we've all seen him with no pants on at all, courtesy of Pete. While he's fast asleep. And again, we know why he doesn't wear budgie smugglers for the same reason. Anyway, we were talking to that. Hello, Jules. I just brought you in there because you started to take the piss out of Sam, which is always good. Always good. So, Daryl, how are you? What have you been up to?
Not a lot, really. Season's come to a grinding halt.
Did they not have you on the championship final at the weekend?
Afraid not, and picked up a bit of an injury to the knee, so can't even train. Very disappointing.
Oh no.
That's my excuse every week. I can't train because my knee hurts, my arthritis hurts, so therefore the only thing, I'm like Simon Shaw. So for those of you who don't know, Simon Shaw. What was that?
What happened, chaps?
I was doing a Bronco and span and twisted it on the way out.
And that's why you should never do a fitness test.
Exactly, that's why you should never do these things, man.
You should always find an excuse and self-test yourself. Although apparently self-testing is now going to be outlawed for the RFU, I hear.
Too many people may have put results in that could not be validated or achieved afterwards.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Are you saying that people would do that sort of thing?
I'm sure some people might.
I don't know who would do that. I don't know who would. You'd never do that, would you, Jules?
Me? I don't need to. I don't need to. I haven't got a reason for it. We don't do any physical testing over here. I did do a Bronco test, and I told everybody my time though.
Which was?
6:12, I think, or 6:05, something like that.
What was that back in 2015?
No, Australia, twat.
No, it is time to say hello to our guest tonight. Now, our guest, as you know, was the guest on episode 58. You won't know what he said, which was really bloody funny, actually. And we've not kept a copy of it or written anything down. But you won't get to know that unless Zoom actually provides the recording. Zoom, sort your shit out and give us the recording. So everybody, I'd love you to say hi to Clem, all the way from Dubai. via Alaska and several other places. How are you doing, buddy?
Hi guys, good to be on the call.
How's it going?
Surviving.
Surviving. Mate, you can't say surviving. I've seen all the photos, and so have these guys of you in Alaska recently.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm surviving. I should have stayed longer.
What, are you missing the cold? I mean, how hot is it today in Dubai?
Dubai hit 50 Celsius today, so it is really hot. And
We
Alaska was
managed to hit 11, so
Oh.
you know.
God.
It was 20.
Alaska was 10 to 15 Celsius, and there was rugby going
I
on.
know, mate. It's fucking. So about 4 o'clock today, the clouds all came in. It looked like it was going to piss down. It's dark as anything now, and it is freezing and windy. We've got the heat. In fact, my wife came home and went, "Put the heating on." Like, no, it's June. I refuse. You can have a blanket.
Exactly.
Sit on the sofa and you can have a blanket. So that's what I did. I got a blanket for my wife because I refused to put the heating on for her. Aren't I a lovely husband?
That's love and devotion for you. Yeah? That's devotion for you. You have to have a blanket. It's June.
Mate, I'm saving the money. Shut up.
Sun's still out here. I could probably hop on a bike and go for a swim in a lake somewhere after this recording.
Yeah, you wouldn't do here, mate. I tell you what, you'd step one toe in the puddle and you'd fucking run home. It's that bad. So Clem, do tell us a little bit more about Alaska then, because Sam especially is dying to hear of all the things that he missed, because Sam has been desperate to go to Alaska for the last couple of years.
We're all jealous.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Sam was supposed to accompany me on this trip, but for whatever reason,
Don't say that, mate. Don't say that, because we've seen the pictures of what happens when you rooms with somebody. Rooming means mooning. That's all I can say. Rooming is mooning, and we've seen. And now we're getting top half only with him on most of these photos. So
yeah, well,
just be careful what you wish for.
We had 22 hours of daylight, so there was no time for mooning out there in Alaska. There's a lot of time for drinking, which was spent very well. No, so I mean, it was something that me and Sam discussed back in 2019 when we were in Vancouver. Unfortunately, 2020 was a write-off, and I've been feeling pretty low in terms of the rugby that is being offered out here, and I wanted to kind of do something that would give me a bit of a high.
We can always come to Scarborough with us, mate. It's a bit like Alaska.
You just can't travel anywhere at the moment. And you land in the US, no one's wearing a mask, and you're like,
No,
oh,
I know.
boy.
I know. It's crazy over there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like it isn't. When I talk to Phil on a daily basis, and our friend Will as well, who's over in Florida, and they're going out for dinner, and all the way through this pandemic, it's like certain states just don't give a fuck, and you can go out and you can do what the hell you want, you can go where you want, and nobody cares. And then you go to other states and you can't do anything. And the kids are off school. It's funny.
I was just happy to go into a pub the day I landed. There was some live music playing, the beers were flowing, no one was wearing a mask. I was just happy to be free again.
Yeah.
Light music. So, what sort of light music was playing, Clem?
I've got no idea what they play in Alaska.
It'll be country.
It was
It'll
live.
be country
That's all.
music.
I don't know. I was happy to have a nice ale, just enjoy the atmosphere.
Well, Clem, on that note, there you go. Cheers, buddy. We're happy to enjoy one with you as well.
Cheers. I'm on tea.
Now, what I'd love to you're on tea. Exactly. What I'd love to know, because last week, I don't know whether you saw last week's show, but Phil was talking about Alaska and some of the things that he did, because of course he helps to organise it there. And he was talking about the timings. You go up to maybe 11:15 at night, no lights on, but it's light enough. I'd love you to just talk through your day. So how that affects your body clock, what time you get up, what time you go for your first drink before breakfast, and what time you start, and then what time you finally went to bed.
Right. So it took me almost 24 hours to get there. So I left I left home at like 7 in the morning on the Wednesday, on the 9th. I reached Anchorage at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night Anchorage time, which is 8 o'clock in the morning on Thursday Dubai time. So that was a good 24 hours.
And which route did you take that took that long?
That was actually the fastest route to get there.
Oh shit!
I did direct Dubai Seattle, and I had a 3-hour layover in Seattle, and then I did Seattle Anchorage, which was another 3.5 hours. So total of about 19 hours of flying plus the 3-hour layover. But then I landed, and this guy Kevin, he was supposed to pick us up, but he was at a coaching camp, so I was asked to come over to the coaching camp, and then I bumped into a guy called Adrian Ferris, who actually used to coach Handy Sports Club in Sri Lanka and my old high school back in 2013. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I've come to Riff, and what are you doing here?" He's like, "I'm based in the US." So we got talking, and we started talking about Sri Lanka and all the good times we've had over there.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Got through the coaching camp. It was like 10:30. We were both like feeling quite hungry. We went out to a pub. We were out there for like a good 3 hours. Had a few to drink, and then Eugenio appears from nowhere. Wants someone to pick him up.
Eugenio always appears from nowhere, mate.
Yeah.
He's in friggin' Alabama now.
Or doesn't
the boy gets everywhere.
Yeah, and so we had to go pick him up. Picked him up, and the cheeky kid wants to take. So we were put up in cabins, and the cabins had bunk beds. So I'm a senior citizen now, right? So I didn't want to be climbing up, and Eugene was like, "No, I put my bag there. I'm going to take the low bed." I'm like, "Fuck you, you're going up."
To be honest, I'm on Eugenio's side here. First in the room, fuck the rest of you.
We fucking picked him up. I was in Anchorage before him.
No, fuck that.
So what you're saying is,
I
mate,
put 6'2" guys on the fucking sofa bed in a room just because I got my bell. Like, fuck you. I got
So
dibs on the bed.
Eugenio got the first red card of the weekend from me.
we're going to take a very quick break, but we'll be back with more tales from Clem and Alaska just in a couple of minutes. See you after this. When you need clear and concise match official communication systems, look no further than the brand new AXIWE AT350.
Radios are always useful, they always help us, especially AXIWEs, where all three of us can be open at any time and we can have open communication.
Available now from refcomsglobal.net. Investing profits into match official development worldwide. Welcome back to part 2 of tonight's 22 Dropouts. Just remember, have a look up there. Follow us on social media. Just search at 22 Dropouts. And don't forget, do not vote. Do not ring in for any competitions if you're watching on demand or you're watching episode 65, when this should be episode 58. So, Clem, you've told Eugenio that he's sleeping on top of you. Do carry on.
Yeah, so anyway, that was Wednesday night. I think we went to bed around 2:30.
That's you and Eugenio, obviously.
Well, Eugenio does not. Eugenio is still a kid. I think he's still underage. He doesn't indulge in the amber liquid, so he went to bed early. We had a few more beers at the club.
Sam's a bit like that, mate. Sam is like that. He's such a fucking lightweight.
I know. I've seen Sam. He is a lightweight.
You've seen him with no pants on as well on his bed.
No, he has not.
Yeah, and that too. Yeah.
Cheers, Clem. Cheers, mate. Yeah, keep the stories to yourself.
Yeah, so body clock's gone for a toss. Obviously, I woke up at 5:30 because the sun's out by 4:30. Can't get much sleep.
Late.
I think, huh?
Sun up here is 1:59 tomorrow.
Oh wow. Yeah, well, so I was a bit, you know, grumpy or whatever, and then we had to deliver a course. So there was me and a couple of guys, Adrian, myself, and a chap called Pat. Uh, got my coffee, got my fix, got through the day. Phil had already arrived. There were a few other referees. They went for a drive. I think they went out to a glacier, saw a bear, had some Alaskan crab. But then we had like a bit of dinner, and Thursday was light. I was kind of knackered. Couple of beers, got to bed early. Wanted to get some sleep.
When you say early, bearing in mind you've woken up at 5 that morning.
Yeah, that too. So I got to bed around 9:30. Wanted to pee. So the setup is that you don't have a loo near the
Toilets? You don't have toilets in Alaska?
no. So well,
No.
they had toilets, but the toilets were a bit of a walk away. And obviously, if it's a pea, you don't really you want to kind of fertilize the vegetation around.
Open the
So
door and miss the veranda.
yeah, exactly. And as I opened the door, it was like 11:30, and I saw this beautiful sunset.
And
And
forgot that you needed a pee, or did you just wet your feet?
I did forget I needed to pee because I went in, grabbed my phone, and I was like taking pictures. Yeah,
You forgot to have a piss and took a photo instead, didn't you?
exactly.
I hope you want to
No,
So
say.
it was beautiful. It's
Oh,
just
sorry,
unbelievable.
So when it came to the days of rugby then, so what time were you guys getting up in the morning?
So on the Friday, most of us were at breakfast by 10. Phil
Such an
had,
easy life.
yeah, look, the first kickoff was only at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm.
So Phil had a meeting planned for like 1:30, and we were just chilling until then. Some of the girls were kind of doing yoga because the sun was out, and it was quite
You just happened to
nice.
spot that, did you, Clem? You just
Yes.
No,
happened.
I just stood at the back looking at all the lycra
Did
stretch.
you go back and get your camera again?
I
No, he went for a
not
wee
not from the
instead,
back.
Ray.
It would have been too obvious if I took pictures
Seeing a
from the back.
trend here. Something beautiful happening. Clem gets his
Yeah,
fill.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, you need to appreciate the beauties in life.
Clem, you
Yeah.
are
So
you
the
are
mountain-
so coming on tour with us lot.
Yeah,
You are
you need to
definitely
enjoy the
coming on tour.
mountain ranges. Yes.
He was enjoying the mountain ranges. That's why he
Yeah,
was
that's what I'm
watching
saying.
yoga.
Yeah, he was enjoying the mountain ranges, a sumptuous amount of mountain ranges in Alaska.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
first kickoff
Lots of
was
clubs. Huh?
about 3:30 then.
First kickoff was 3 o'clock. Last kickoff was 10:40, and we had games, going on all through until 11 o'clock. Again, there was a bit of a brawl. Guess who the man in the middle was?
You?
Eugene?
No,
Eugene.
yeah, there you go.
Eugene.
Easy one. God knows,
Red
God knows
card
what
again by any
happened.
chance? Red card again?
Yeah, two Samoan teams, great rugby, and then suddenly everyone's in the middle of the pitch, and Eugene kept blowing his whistle for 2 or 3 minutes. Nothing happened, and then they sorted themselves out.
Commanding authority as usual, Eugenio. In
Get
fact,
the wall
I think we
Right,
should have him
lads,
back
you
on the
pick
show.
a red card. I can't be asked.
I think we
Huh?
should have him back on the show just to answer all of these crimes he's been accused of, Sam.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should. We should.
And what type of crimes are they, do you think?
I don't know. I think we need to ask the judge, juror, and executors, but I'm pretty sure it's a heinous crime.
I think if we asked Colin, he would say it was a heinous crime. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah,
Heinous.
definitely. So, right, Clem, we've talked about the nice bits and the fact that you're working late into the evening and getting up when the sun's awake, going to bed when the sun's awake. Now, what else happened on tour? Because wherever you go on tour, something always happens to bring a story to our ears that makes us giggle. You can say it. Listen, you're amongst friends, mate. You're amongst friends. Nobody will ever repeat this. You're amongst friends.
Again, I blame Eugene for this as well. So, as I said, we had been out drinking for about 3 hours when we got the call from Eugenio asking us to come and pick him up. And we had this guy called Kevin who was kind of, quite accommodating. So he's like, guys, we need to go and pick the guy up, all that. We're like, okay, let's go. And he had a cab, which had enough seats for 5 people, and we were 5. And he had a scrum machine attached to the back of his cab on a trailer. So it was quite an operation. And here we go out to Anchorage Airport to pick Eugenio. And Kevin's like, Clem, you got to come and sit in the front, sit in the middle. So I sit in the middle. The transmission is a bit of a curve, a bit of a hump, right? So I put both my legs on the 2 sides. So my left leg is on the driver's seat side, and my right leg is on the passenger seat side. And suddenly I'm looking at Kevin because the vehicle starts to move. And Kevin's kind of wondering what's going on. He had stopped to allow Eugenio to come in, and the vehicle's moving. So we moved forward for about 40 minutes, and Kevin goes, what the fuck is going on? You're pressing on the gas. So I was pressing on the gas. I blame Eugenio for coming in late. Number 2, I blame Kevin for not putting the car into park mode. He had it on drive mode.
The engine off.
But yeah, that was a bit scary. But I was high, so it's all right.
Clem, listen, whenever you come on here, and the 3 listeners and viewers that actually watch this show won't ever realise, because we can't find a recording of your last appearance. But you never, ever, ever fail to have stories about you going on tour. Never at all. So what I want to do now is I want you to cast your mind back, and I want you to just tell us the funniest thing that's ever happened to you on any tour.
Yeah, I think it would happen to be the snow before the game back in 2013 in a place called South Molton in cold Devon on a very, very cold Saturday in February when England was supposed to play France later on in the day. So I got there with Jack, who's based in Devon. He was attached to the Bristol referees, and so we get there on an hour before kickoff, and it starts to snow. And I go, Jack, is this game going ahead? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I try to kind of, get my track pants on, tracksuit on, try to do a warm up. No sweat, nothing. Get through the game, come back in the changing room, and I forgot to switch on the hot water.
Oh, no.
So imagine having a cold water shower when it's minus 10 degrees. No, that's one memory that.
Mate, welcome to English rugby in the community, where none of them can get their fucking showers working.
Below Division 3.
Yeah. And do you know what? Even worse than that is, Clem, next time you come over to the UK, I am going to get you a game in a wonderful Peak District town near me called Buxton. It's the only place. See, everybody's already laughing.
Oh fuck!
That's just nasty. That's nasty.
It's the only place that I have ever refereed where I've had sun, rain, hail, and snow in the same game.
The weather up there is just mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We did-
just it's about 10 miles that way from me as well.
Do that. I should try and get you a game at Tonguin Lice Rugby Club outside Cardiff. And you go in the changing rooms there, and I still remember playing there for Penturk Rugby Club. And going in the changing rooms, and everyone's getting a shower. There's no showers, it's just a tube with holes drilled in it, and they turn on the tap, and it's only a little bit of a trickle coming out. And it's always fucking cold, so you're trying to wash in cold water with a trickle out of a tube. One of the lads was in there saying, "Oh, I've got some lovely hot water. It's great." And we're all looking at him, and there's one of the props behind him peeing up in the air. I won't name the prop, but he still drinks in the Lewis Arms, I believe.
And on that bombshell, we're going to take a quick break. Julian, just tell me that prop's name if you can.
It's Rob Bonington.
Rob, you've been outed, mate. I hope you want to come on the show and tell us all about it. But we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes just after this. God, it works. Just stay there.
We're
Stay
just
there.
curious what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
How come
Now,
when they do
welcome
you
back.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So I have just said in the break, I have just heard a proper real life bombshell. And I've just told everybody to shut the fuck up, which is why it's quite quiet in the background for a second. Phil's joined us from Vegas. How you doing, mate? All good?
Guys, how are you?
Yeah, we're good. Now, what have you just said in the break to Clem?
I said to Clem that not only is he a gentleman, I didn't say that. I
You did not say that, you liar. You lie.
I did say that I didn't realize that Alaska was his last rugby event.
Now, that's a massive bombshell. That's a proper way to end the show or end the part of a show. Clem, right to reply, mate.
I never went to Alaska thinking that was going to be my last, but I had so much fun. I don't think I can ever better that. And
Right, challenge accepted.
Yeah,
I
accepted.
thought,
Challenge accepted. That's it.
I want to leave on a good note because, I'm not enjoying it here, to be honest. So, yeah.
Okay, so what we need to do, mate, is you need to wind down what you're doing over there, and you need to ramp up what you're doing with us lot. So,
time out. Clem could come to Malta and be one of those long-term referee guys for me.
There you go.
I've got a job back here.
Sam.
Oh, don't worry about that, mate. As Phil said, you're free, so it's all good.
Sam.
Yeah, mate.
He's better than that.
Well, he's better than what?
Malta.
He's a ref educator as well, Sam. You could use him.
Oh dear.
Why are you laughing? Mike?
I'm up for the weekends. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm up for 3-day weekends.
Absolutely. Why are you
So
laughing,
there
Mike?
you go. You heard it here first. Clem's coming to Scarborough in August because the rugby there, mate, is going to be top notch. I mean, look at Daryl. Daryl's a professional referee.
I'm so excited about being in Scarborough. I cannot wait. Yeah, it's going to be the pinnacle of my summer.
Have you noticed our host isn't on again because he knows that just what's coming to him that weekend?
I'm just relying on you to sort me out of bed. At my age, I need a bed, not sleep.
I've got camp beds and air beds, and I'm happy to sleep on those and give up a bed for you, Daryl, because you are just a tiny bit more senior than I am.
And hold on, he's also after a
probably won't
non-speech,
make it,
so he doesn't
will
have to actually go for a pee outside the cabin.
No, I have got to tell you this. I've got to tell you this, right? The last talk, so Clem talking about Pete not going to the toilet. So the last rugby tour I went on as a player was the Marbella Vets, and it was a big guy. I brought back into rugby. He hadn't played rugby for 20 years. It was huge. He's the size of my, in fact, he's the size of my office. And he'd only ever do 10 minutes of a game, but he absolutely loved it. And he was sharing a room with me. And my bed was by the balcony, and he got up on the first night. And instead of turning right as he got out of bed and going to the bog, the idiot turned left, climbed over my bed, woke me up. And by the time I realized what he was doing, he'd opened the patio doors onto the balcony, and he was having a piss into the street.
So I got a funny story similar to that. In the police academy, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, one of our bunkmates sleepwalked, and he was quite hammered. He gets up to his bunkmate's closet, opens up the closet, and oh my God! The entire troop lost a weekend because this guy urinated in his bunkmate's.
Phil, when I used to live in Manchester, I went to university in Manchester. Two of my flatmates lived on the second floor in a three-floor house, and one of them sleptwalked into the other guy's room. Rob then wakes up going, "What are you doing, Chris?" And he just looked at him strangely and said, "Going to the loo." And he pissed all over Rob.
Any more piss stories while we're at it?
If there's any of that in bloody Scarborough, there'll be trouble, yeah?
No sleepwalking, boys.
What did Chapper say there? If that doesn't happen in Scarborough, there'll be trouble.
He said, Sam, if he doesn't piss on your bed in Scarborough, there's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
Are you coming to Scarborough, Sam?
I'm intending to, mate, if I can, but it's obviously if the amber traffic light system things change to green or not.
I've never seen you in 3D. I don't know what you're going to look like. Are you real?
I'm no different.
We're going to have to get you a fucking hologram vision of it.
I'm no
Daryl, that's a very valid point. That's a very valid point.
The photo images are slightly better in real life, trust me.
He could be 3'1" tall and 10 foot wide. I don't know.
That's all right.
Right, no, Daryl.
That sounds about right, actually.
Daryl, you know better than that because you've seen his arse. Because every time Pete's on, we always show the photo that Pete took of him, so you know that he's got a skinny ass.
No comment.
I love you, chappers. Love you, chaps. Cheers, mate.
Now it's that time again, Sam.
Yes.
It's your time to shine.
Oh yeah, you mean you want me to start the stopwatch?
I want you to start the stopwatch in a minute. And
very
just
good. It's my 40, and this is why we created the 22 dropouts, so I could play with a clock. Ready when you are.
You heard him right.
You just added the L, didn't you?
So, Clem, you're an old hat at this. The problem is, when I asked Sam, what were the things that we asked Clem last time on episode 58, the episode that never was? And he went, I don't fucking know. So we're just going to go with the standard for you tonight, with maybe a couple of novel twists. So, of course, Clem, you know how we play this. If I say red or blue, you're going to say?
Red.
There you go.
The serious face.
See, look at Phil's face already. You said red. That's
answer.
like Coke. That's like Coke and the Democrats in the States. So you've got to go blue, which is Pepsi and Republicans. And
Peace.
police. Right. Okay. So, if we can, please, Samuel, can we have 90 seconds on the clock?
You have 90 seconds.
Okay. And just bear in mind that when I say it, the last question, that's probably a.
I'll be bang on. Yeah, it'll be perfect, mate. Yeah.
I reckon we're just going to get through these in about 90 seconds, but we'll give it a go. So, Sam, can you give us a countdown, please?
No, I can't. I don't know how to count backwards.
Well, that's fucking true. You're Scottish.
3, 2, 1. Get on with it.
Okay, Clem, sauna or ice bath?
Ice bath.
Fish or chips?
Fish.
Ketchup or brown sauce?
Ketchup.
Netflix or Amazon?
Netflix.
TikTok or Tinder?
Tinder.
Hey, cardio or weights?
I remember that one.
Cardio.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Say that again?
Xbox or
Xbox.
PlayStation?
Xbox.
Xbox. Golf or
Who's
gym?
asking the questions?
Golf or gym?
Golf. Golf.
Flip flops or sliders?
Flip flops.
Oxfords or brogues?
Brogues.
You
Is
don't
that a
have to
question
say
or
it
is that
like
an
you're
answer?
asking the question. But by the
What
way,
are
that's the wrong
brogues?
answer. Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Boobs or bum?
Boobs.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Oh man! Ale or lager?
Lager.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Dubai or Alaska?
Alaska.
Sevens or 15s?
Sevens.
I've got to change pages now. Hang on, they've stuck together.
Professional.
Whistle or flag?
Whistle.
Pass the ball or run with it?
Run with it.
And your last question, as a roomie, Phil or Sam?
Phil.
Oh!
90 seconds. Time's up.
I think you made the right choice there, Clem. Sorry, Sam.
That's all right.
Hey,
It's
Clem,
okay.
I know you didn't make that initial trip with us, with Eugene and everybody else, but you were invited.
No, I wanted to get on with the course, so that's fine. I did the flight on Sunday morning.
Yeah, you know, I saw your pictures.
I wasn't sober, but I did the flight. I made the flight.
As long as you weren't flying.
The books.
So there is one thing here, Clem, that every time you talk to us, all your stories, they all involve beer.
All good stories begin with beer.
Isn't
And
that
I'm just
how a
wondering
good
whether
story
that's
should?
deliberate or whether
I thought that's how a good story should always begin.
We're with you. I wanted to check whether it was deliberate or accidental, and now I know it's deliberate. You're fine. So let's have a look at your answers, shall we? Obviously, it's 50 degrees today over in Dubai, so you've gone for an ice bath. I still think you're mad. I've tried it once and never try it again. Fish rather than chips with ketchup. Fish and ketchup.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not like a chips and gravy kind of guy then?
Well, my choices were ketchup and what?
Brown
Brown
sauce.
sauce.
So when you come, so what we're going to do when you come to
Yeah, okay.
Scarborough,
I get brown sauce with fish.
no, I wouldn't either, mate. But then again, I wouldn't do ketchup with fish either. But when you come to Scarborough, we are definitely going to give you chips and gravy. And on the side, you're going to get chips and curry sauce because that's the way life is. Netflix, not Amazon, of course, because Amazon's a bit shit at the minute. And TikTok or Tinder?
Oh, Tinder, obviously. Is
Okay.
that even a like a guess? Like,
Well, actually, so many people who come on this show want to say Tinder, but they don't, so they just go for TikTok, even though they've never heard of it. So fair play for your honesty. Cardio and Xbox, well, I wouldn't know about any of those two. In fact, I wouldn't know about weights or PlayStation either. And I certainly wouldn't know where a gym is near me. And although I live opposite a golf
I know,
course,
you live down the road.
dear. Yeah, well, you see, Jim's further away from me than the golf course is. But the last time I hit 2 balls in a straight line together was when I stood on the garden rake. So I ain't
Jim's-
playing golf.
What's Jim's last name?
The pool.
Mountford. There you go. You didn't think I was even know that, did you? Flip flops. Now, look, we've had lots of this, and I'm sort of siding with. I like flip flops. I prefer flip flops, but I've got sliders because when you're at a tournament, and I know you're looking a little perplexed here, Clem, but bear with me. Mate. Bear with me. When you're
Clem,
at a
it's not
tournament,
about you, bud. It's not about your answer.
You're just lazy, Mike, and you don't want to take your fucking
Yeah,
socks.
we're only discussing.
I don't want to take my
Clem's
socks
answer, not
off.
the whole
I want to
reason
take my
yours.
You're
boots
just
off.
lazy.
I want to
The
take my
whole
boots off,
point.
but not my
The
socks.
whole point of this is to take your fucking socks off and get those stinky
Exactly.
things off your feet for a little bit and
No,
give your
'cause-
toes a little wiggle.
Right. If I take my, I've got a pair of socks to take off. I've got a pair of calf supports to take off. I've got a pair of under socks to take
Let's
off.
leave your calves alone. We're not going back on the farm now, all right, Mike?
Yeah.
I'm not,
Anyway,
mate.
Don't bring
I
your
am
feelings
sur-
into this.
I'm surrounded by dairy farms, and there are certain things about calves that certain dairy farmers have said that and especially when they're suckling calves, that I'm not going into. So anyway, you were a bit perplexed by Oxfords and Brogues. Is that because you all wear deck shoes when in Dubai?
No, I didn't hear the second one proper. I didn't
Okay.
hear that question proper.
So we're going to
Yeah,
give you,
I
we're
would
going to
have
give you a
actually gone
right
for
to reply.
Oxford.
Oxford's good lad. Okay, you don't need to say it anymore. You went for brunette with a brunette with boobs. I'd have to go for a blonde. Well, actually, she's brunette, but likes to be blonde with boobs and a bum. So there you go. Pancakes, obviously. Phil, sort him out, mate.
Clem.
What-
Love you,
what-
buddy.
what's that?
And you got the right answer at the last question, but we do
Yeah,
need to get something straight.
Yeah, I'll tell you what my problem with Pepsi is.
Go
Pepsi
ahead.
is more popular in India, and India beats us at cricket every time we play them.
So what you're
Clem.
saying is I should go to India.
So, no, yeah, you should go to India. I'll keep supporting Coca-Cola in Sri Lanka with my 20 million fellow Sri Lankans.
Clem, for that answer, I'm afraid you are a.
Oh, thank you.
It's a while since the big cocks come out. We need Lawrence. In fact, Lawrence might be with us next week because his studies are just about to finish. Lager, mate. Again. Tea, fair enough. Dubai or Alaska? Obviously, it's going to be Alaska. You can't take that. And sevens, can't take that away from you.
Hang on. Bravo to that answer. How do you say no to that? I mean, it's outstanding.
And you know what? I've got to say, because we're going to show a picture right now. Have a look at this. Clem, what have you done to your leg muscles? It's like somebody has just got some plasticine or modeling clay and bolted it onto your leg.
Those are my naturally developed quads.
Ah, fucking hell! I must work harder.
Do you know what a quad is, Mike? It's not the thing with 4 wheels on it, like a motorbike.
Yeah, I was going to say it's one of those things that you ride on between the fields, isn't it? Around near me.
You're getting back to the feet, buddy. Heifers again, and going on the dairy.
Yeah. Too right. But mate, seriously, now hang on. Just going to check something. So you went golf rather than gym, okay? I'm going to call you out as a liar. You've definitely been in the gym to get legs like that. So Stop it now.
No,
And you'd rather run with the ball. No, mate, no. No, I'm the host. You shut up. And as a player, you'd rather run with the ball than pass it. Happy days. And as a roomie, the most important question of the night, would you pick Phil or Sam? And of course you pick Phil. And I think everybody on the show, in fact, Sam would pick Phil rather than himself. But I've got to ask you, Clem, I've got to ask you, mate, why did you pick Phil rather than Sam?
It's simple. Phil is fresh in my mind.
That is fresh.
Oh, mate, there are so many jokes.
Sam's more than 2 years old now. So Sam's gone into the archives.
Phil is fresh and Sam is stale.
Pretty much, yep.
Pretty much. Do you know what? That would be a great time to leave the show, especially as we're about 5 minutes over time, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is play our new game. And it's called Nog, Marry, or Avoid.
Clem, what have you let yourself in for?
So, Clem, because you have a particular love interest between Sam and Phil. Okay, mate. And bear with me on this. I'm going to ask you, who would you snog, who would you marry, and who would you avoid? And the three people you've got to choose from are Sam, Phil, and Eugenio. No pressure, mate. So you would snog which one?
Sam, I'll marry Phil, I'll avoid Eugenio.
No. Jules, you've got an alternative for this, haven't you?
Yeah, I do. The correct game.
So can you just give the alternative game? Bearing in mind, Clem, we're going with the same people. Sam, Phil, and Eugenio.
The alternative game is called Fuck, Marry, or Kill. Who would you fuck? Who would you marry? Who would you kill?
I think probably still in the same,
Can we move on?
order.
Can we move on now? Yeah,
Kill me now. Kill me now.
Yeah.
No, Phil, he should marry you.
It's the same order.
yeah, I'll stick to the same order. It's fine.
So he's marrying you, Phil.
Exactly.
Killing Eugenio. And Sam, he's just seen your bottom too many times on this show, on those photographs.
Daryl and I are sitting here thinking, why the hell are we doing this?
So, Clem, mate, I look, it's a bit of fun. I know. Daryl's lost it completely.
Yeah.
Sam is so worried that you're going to snog and then fuck him. At least he's going to snog you first, Sam. Sam,
if we're not back to Scarborough again, are we?
Sam's not invited. Actually, Clem's not invited anymore. Yeah, after that. Sam, just be thankful he wants to kiss you before he does it.
Well, yeah, he's got to fucking buy me around first, you know what I mean?
Well, on that wonderful bombshell, and Clem, thank you very much, not only for your answers tonight on Snog, Marry, Avoid, or whatever it was, Snog, Kill, Do, whatever it is, because I keep forgetting. But thank you for that. Thank you for coming on again. Thank you for re-recording, because Zoom lost your recording earlier on. Thank you for coming on with all of your stories, and you're welcome anytime. I know the difference in time is quite big, but just remember, Clem, you have to go with Pepsi and not with Coke. Okay, regardless of India or Sri Lanka, that just doesn't matter. It's Pepsi all the way from now on. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. anytime you want to come on, you just join us whenever you can, because it's absolutely wonderful having you on. It's wonderful having the rest of the guys on tonight. Thank you everybody for being here tonight, and we'll see you next week with hopefully an episode just as much fun as we've had tonight. You take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.